This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Hello and welcome once again to Super Connectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burger Pits,
Phil Perich.
Hey, Philip, welcome back to the show. And so let's talk about Lower Decks. First off, we'll get that out of the way. For those of you who are not aware, that is a new semi-humorous Star Trek series on CBS All Access. We did a nice review of the first 3 episodes on our Patreon account, which is free. So it's on Patreon, but it's free just to give you that taste. So you may want to check over there. And I'm excited about the second half of the season because it was just confirmed Jean Delancey will be reprising his role as Q in an upcoming episode. And it got me thinking about how they're going to introduce Q on the Cerritos. Because here's the thing, and they mentioned the Q a lot in the last episode that just came out.
Yeah.
Where they basically blame everything. Oh, Q showed up and did wackiness, and that's why everything's broken. Which I wonder how many times people use that excuse. Oh, it was a Q. Although it strikes you, man, that probably like the first space travelers in the Star Trek universe, probably people thought they were like just drunken sailors. I'm telling you, man, there was a Q and he could do things and just craziness. But
yeah, because that guy in this, what was that, the last episode? He's just like, oh yeah, well, he's the one who took the core out, and he was just like, let's just say it was a Q. Came out.
Yes, and then when they get him transferred, and they say, oh no, a Q's doing something. We can't. It's breaking up the subspace. So yeah, so that was kind of interesting. Although I didn't like. That was one thing in that last episode I didn't really like, where they open up and everyone's his best friend.
Yeah.
And then at the end, and I kind of got this weird feeling that, like, oh, did he, like, brain drain himself? Did he used to be smarter? Was he smarter at the start of this, and then he became an idiot after he tried to make himself smarter? But then again, the whole idea of, oh, I'll hook my brain up to the isolinear chip cores that would do it. I mean, it's a dumb idea.
I mean, I think people just liked him because he said the right things, and like in this one, like they wanted to go to that concert, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you guys go. I'll take care of I'll take care of everything."
Yeah, that could be it. It was kind of odd to me though. But anyway, but yeah. So, and the reason I find it interesting because here's the thing. So the Cerritos is very much sort of like a second-class ship, and there's not anything special about it. So you have this question, okay, so they're going to run into a Q. Why are they going to run into the Q? And it struck me, interestingly, that there is a reason why for a Q to come on board, and that is that we had a character by the name of Lieutenant O'Connor, who ascended in a previous episode. Ascension basically meaning that he transmogrified into a being of pure energy and floated away painfully and terrified as he entered into the great truth of the universe, which is a koala smiling at you.
Why is it taking so long?
Yes, well, it was interesting. But here's the thing, but because he has transcended, like, it raises this possibility that maybe there's a protocol when someone transcends in this way. And we have seen this large gaggle over the years of various and sundry infinitely powered energy beings. So when someone transcends reality and becomes a human who ascends in this way, how do these other cosmic energy beings handle it. And I wonder if we're going to get like a little council between, and I can't remember the ones, like there's the ones that totally ended hostilities between the Klingons and the humans by just, or was it the Romulans, by making all of their weapons too hot to touch, and because they just had that infinite power and they could do that because they were cool like that, you know. And then you have the Q, and then there's several other races that are very similar with that. It's like, well, we just have infinite power.
Oh, what if Q? That's when Q comes in with that. He brings that guy back, and he's like, "Why are you lowers dumping your garbage in our Q continuum?"
Well, you know, it could be interesting. But I'd like to see it as I like to see Q as a teaching character. But one of the things I thought would be interesting in having this kind of council of beings, these other hyper energy beings, you know, that are there, is we could actually come to an interesting question about Q, which is, are there multiple Qs, or is there just one Q who has multiple expressions of his being or her being?
I mean, there was a Voyager episode or two where, I mean, there was that one episode. There was like basically a civil war in the Q continuum. I mean,
yeah, but that's the idea. Is it a civil war between? Essentially, is he fighting with himself? Is that essentially like in the same way that, you know, you debate something in your head? Is that what's happening? Like when, and here's the thing, because Qs exist throughout time, a Q right now isn't necessarily, you know, is still existing within time, even as they are outside of time. So every time they step into a temporal space, does that make a different Q?
So,
you know?
Are you sure you're giving me the Kang and Morbius?
Well, yeah, or my own theory on the Beyonders, that, you know, basically there was the Beyonder, and he became the Beyonders because he left the place where he was one and came to the multiplicated universe, and suddenly he starts splitting up. So that then when all of those Beyonders go back to their home dimension, they're all slightly off, going, you know, they're all slightly out of phase of time. And I would find that an interesting idea among the Q, if it's just that, no, there is only one Q. Also, you had pointed out that Rosario Dawson, I believe, is interested in playing the Q.
The article was from April. I don't know why I didn't get more plays. I don't remember hearing it, but yeah, I guess Rosario Dawson said she'd be interested in playing Q in the Picard series.
Yeah, which would be fun. Although I'm sure John Delancey would say, "I'm not actually dead. I'm not dead yet."
Well, that might be interesting if they had Q appear as both of them. You know, he whenever he decides, you know, half the time he's delaying.
Well, yeah, I mean, with all love to John Delancey, that's not what Q is. You know, as you know, the second time Q appears, he appears as a 7-headed serpent and says, "I am the Q, and I have come." You know, and then he transforms into a Starfleet admiral, and Riker says, "You're not an admiral." Says, "Yes, I'm not a 7-headed snake either." And then when Q first hooks up with the archaeologist that Picard was, and he makes a point. If I had realized you would be this off your game by having a female form, I would have visited you as a female.
And I wonder, could he say, like, I mean, spoilers for season 1 of Picard, could he be like, yeah, you're in a different body now. You're in an android body. Your brain works differently now. You see me different now.
Oh, that'd be weird. So wait, he's in an android body now?
You didn't finish this.
I can't get through that nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, spoilers. I mean, he like died. He kind of dies at the end, and they put him in an android body, but they're like, oh yeah, we know you wouldn't want to be immortal, so it'll live like your normal lifespan, and it'll have your normal strength. So he doesn't have any of the advantages of being an android, but he's in an android body.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, first off, why even bring me back then? If I was dead, that was what I wanted. You know, don't Phil Coulson him, but don't make him a superhero. It's just like, the whole reason why Phil thought, well, I guess this isn't that bad was like, oh wow, superhuman strength and 9 invulnerability. Okay,
I'm just like, they probably don't make him a superhero because 80-year-old John Patrick Stewart's not going to be leaping off of stuff or But I'm like, then why put him in the android body? Come on.
Well, exactly. Yeah, let them. If the man dies, let him die. It's
exactly.
Don't bring him back to life for. And again, for who? For who? For who is that for? It's not for him. He's dead.
And if you're not going to make him a superhero, don't put him in don't kill him off in the story. Come on.
And to put it to you really simple, that's not Picard. That is a computer that has been programmed to think it's Picard. It's got all of Picard's memories and all of Picard's brain patterns, and sure, you can say, well, what are we but our memories? Like, well, we are the one that's dead.
I mean, I'm trying to remember. I'm thinking Dr. Sung said there was some kind of he was working on a thing that actually transfer the brain to an artificial body. So they're that's them trying to pretty it up and say, oh yeah, this is the thing.
No, he's dead, and it's fine. He's dead. But that means you've actually made this robot to feel pain. It's like, whoa, what if we just made a robot that was like 90 years old and about to kick it? And we'll make it so his back hurts and his feet hurt and he gets out of breath.
I mean, I don't know if he's gonna have arthritis and stuff, but yeah, they basically say, yeah, you're gonna live your normal. I think he's gonna get at least another 10 or 20 years, but they're just like, yeah, no super strength, nothing, no. So basically,
it sucks.
You don't have to spend any money on special effects. We're just gonna say, oh yeah, you're an android.
Super strength doesn't cost anything. The set's actually made out of cardboard anyway.
I know.
When you have him lift the door, when he does that there's no cost in that.
I know.
Unless you're having him doing Hulk leaps, it's really cost effective. It's laser beam eyes. That's expensive, but so Picard's an android now.
Yes. But you probably won't be able to tell. So.
Well, yeah. So, and honestly, this is one of these things where, like, okay, that's a spoiler, and it's the kind of spoiler you want. That's the kind of spoiler you go, okay, so probably won't finish that series then. Okay, it's just, Oh, and if they do bring Q, it's like, here, you're a real boy again.
He shows up as Rosario Dawson, and Picard's like, why are you doing this? And he'd be like, you switch bodies, Jean-Luc. Why can't I?
Yes, but I think it would be kind of cool. That I guess that's their out. Then, if they do bring in Q, they're going to make him a real boy. It's like
That's what I'm saying. That he could tempt it. He could at least tempt them and be like, "Hey, I can snap my fingers and give you your old body back."
Yeah, or just tell him, you are dead. You're a robot that thinks you're Jean-Luc Picard. But if you'd like to actually be Jean-Luc Picard, I can do that too. Because I can restructure you to actually be a living, breathing Jean-Luc Picard, not a robot designed to feel pain.
I could snap my fingers and bring you back as 50-year-old Jean-Luc Picard. So yeah,
we can do whatever you want. So exactly, recast. Yeah. Ooh, now you look like Rosario Dawson. Why not?
I just wonder if we're going to see. What's going on in the Enterprise? Is Worf still captain?
Yeah, I would imagine.
I mean, basically, the only ones from the original crew could be on there still are Worf, Geordi, and Dr. Crusher. Those are like the only.
What, on the Enterprise?
Yeah, because Riker and Troy are kind of retired. Riker kind of sort of comes out of retirement at the end. Data's gone, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm sure Worf is still. I mean, Worf's a soldier. He's probably Admiral Worf by now.
Maybe that's what I'm saying.
Or he's like in the Klingon High Command. Go back to his roots.
Oh, you could bring in a bunch of people because if Worf is still captain, he could be bringing in some of his Deep Space Nine buddies too.
Actually, the most logical thing for Worf would be for Worf to actually be a diplomat for the Klingon Empire.
True.
Like the Honorable Corby, just sort of the guy that's doing all the negotiations for the peace treaties. Because he's like, no, I know how to deal with other races, and I know how not to be a jerk Klingon when I meet other races.
He became a diplomat in honor of his former captain.
Yeah, something like that, So that'd be cool. And hey, I'd love to see what Alexander's up to.
Oh yeah,
he's like a grown-up man now. Maybe he's captain of the Enterprise. Although I'd love it if he's a scientist, just a Klingon scientist, Alexander. Chief medical officer, Alexander Roshenko.
How funny would that be if he was like worst first officer and like nothing he ever does is good enough?
Well, no, you can't do that's a conflict of interest. You can't have that. It's the same reason Pike and Number One were never supposed to date.
Don't tell the captain on lower decks.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, that's not his first officer.
I know, yeah.
But I mean, that's not her first officer, yeah. And I think Starfleet would have. I mean, I know she's got that idea of would be mother-daughter adventures. It's like no, I don't think Mariner would like that, and that's just the crux of that. Anyway, let's shift gears for a minute. Let's talk a bit about the Batman.
All right.
Because speaking of Matt Pat put out his new theory because Matt Pat, he guessed a lot of plot points from the Joker. Now, granted, they were pretty obvious plot points that he guessed, and they worked out. And he decided he wanted to make his guess for what's going to happen in the Batman. And his theory, however, is that essentially the Batman gets broken in it. That the Riddler convinces Batman to break his one rule to take a life.
Oh.
That basically pushes him through one bad day to show him the evil of the Court of Owls and yada yada. And that's going to push Batman to become the more violent Batman that they love in the movies.
Again, it's like, I don't know if I want that, though. I mean, we kind of get that in almost every movie. It's like, Michael Keaton, I mean, they were dropping Joker off a building. And, I mean, most of these villains get killed at the end of all these superhero movies anyway. So it's like,
Michael Keaton didn't drop.
Okay.
Joker fell.
Okay, he's holding on to a helicopter. He shoots a line between him and the gargoyle. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, well, arguably. But I mean, it is what it is. I would like to think that Matt Pat is wrong on this. I think that maybe the plotline that happens where it is pushing him to it, but the entire point is that that's when Batman pulls back. It is the one more day thing.
Yeah.
Or the one bad day thing. Although then when you go into that other argument that suggests that Batman actually kills the Joker at the end of The Killing Joke, that actually was one bad day and he actually realizes that he has to kill the Joker. And that's when we start getting our ultraviolet Batman. So maybe there's something to that, but I don't want that.
No.
What I want isn't going to matter to DC or to the director of the film or to Matt Pat himself, but I do feel like if they go that route, if they go the route that Batman gets broken and Batman becomes the Punisher, then they lose the threat of Batman and basically, again, doom the DC cinematic universe to needing another reboot.
Yeah.
To being broken down again. And again, this is Batman year 2. And as Matt points out, in this storyline, Batman is in a position that he is going into crime scenes. He's accepted as part of this of the crime solving unit, and that by the end of it, he's going to be this outlaw vigilante. And it's like, no. Don't do that, because first off, you've already done it, and second off, you are actually hurting the franchise because you're taking away what makes him different than the people he beats up on.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the thing. So that attraction to the ultraviolet Batman, that is, I think, it's fool's gold. It's fool's gold for these people, and I don't think they should be going for it. But
I said I want Detective Batman, and it's like, how about we get a Batman that isn't like fully armored up and stuff? And
yeah, and for what it's worth, he's not fully armored up.
yeah, no.
For what it's worth, he's got a very lightweight armor, and he really seems to be a far more superheroic Batman, at least in this. And I like that.
How about we get like a back to basics bat?
Yeah. So I don't know. It would be nice if we could get that. It would be nice if we could build that character into something good. If we do not lose track of what makes Batman a good character,
yes,
that would be good. And what makes any superhero a good superhero is they have a moral compass.
Yes.
For what it's worth, when we were talking about the boys over on Capes and Lunatics, that's essentially the problem, is that none of or at least very few of the heroes have a moral compass.
Yes.
Very few of the heroes want to accept responsibility, and they want the power, they don't want the responsibility.
They're like, what's in it for me?
Exactly. And that is the problem for these superheroes.
Oh yeah.
And that is the problem if Batman doesn't have his moral code. If any hero doesn't have a moral code, they need to have a center. They need to have a place that is their guiding point, where they say, I will do a lot of things, but there are certain things that I understand separate me from the people I'm fighting, and I will not become the people I'm fighting. But, and that's the thing. And I don't think Matt Pat is right on this, because I don't think DC is that stupid. But then again, you will never go broke betting on the stupidity of American corporations. So, that is the sad but true truth of it.
The stupidity of suits.
Yes. Oh, gods. Let me see. What else was on my list? Shang-Chi. Benedict Wong has been seen on set. Now, you had said that you had heard that Wong's character is going to be a big part of the story.
No. That was just a theory. No. Yeah, no.
I like the theory that he would be. I like the idea. First off, it would be great to have Benedict Wong, to have a real Wong centric story piece.
Yeah,
where it's like, we're not looking for Doctor Strange, but Wong is the guy, and he is as capable and as great of a sorcerer as Doctor Strange would be. And when you think about things like martial arts, that line between magic and martial arts is very thin, especially in this idea where he is like a legendary martial artist, Mm-hmm. And that is the point of Shang-Chi, is he is supposed to be like the kind of martial artist that you would see that you would see written about on scrolls,
Yeah.
He's that perfect 10, master of the 10 fingers, or the 10 rings. And what I find most interesting about the Shang-Chi movie, which is why I'm very excited to see it, and very excited to see the idea that it could blend into the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe, and bringing in characters like Wong to show a universe outside of what we see with our main guys. I would very much like to see that. And what is interesting to me is that Hail to the King is not on Disney Plus. And I've mentioned this before, but as we start talking more and more about Shang-Chi, its absence is palpable. And I get the feeling one of the reasons why is because I think that scene is going to be in the movie.
Maybe.
I think that is actually like the first 10 minutes of Shang-Chi.
Maybe they're hoping some people forget about it, so they can bring it in as a big surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be the idea. I think that whole scene is going to be the opening salvo for it. So that's my big prediction for that. Because I can't think of any other reason for them to take it off of Disney Plus, because it's supposed to be on the Dark World Blu-ray, and they have all of the normal shorts that were on the other Blu-rays, but this is the one that they didn't put in. So it's like, why? And the only reason I can think of it is because they're going to be using stuff from that, and they don't want it to be, because they might even make some edits to it, so they don't want people going, oh, in the first one it was like this, and now in this one it's like that, But we'll see how that goes. Venture Brothers is coming to an end. That really breaks my heart. Yeah, I love the Venture Brothers. It's a great show, and that it's going off the air, that it is officially canceled. And this is the thing, Cartoon Network says they want to do something else. They want to tie up the loose ends, and so this is going to be a whole thing with Doc Hammer and Cartoon Network about, because I know. That's the thing, is I get the feeling that the reason this show is ending is because it took so long to get seasons. Because Doc is kind of a perfectionist, does all the work himself, and I think they may say, look, if we can do a movie, we'll do a movie if you can have other people working on this. If this can be a more streamlined process and we can move forward much quicker, we can do a couple of movies based on the Venture Brothers rather than an entire series. So... That's my hope, that we're going to get there, but we have to see what happens. I mean, it's a real question. I'm optimistic for what they might do. There's a lot of good stories out there in the comic book universe right now, and or the genre universe right now, and you're just hoping we get good things that come of it. But then again, there's also, the Batman, and the possibility that they will once again screw the pooch on it. So that's the problem. Oh gosh, I am getting so tired. So let's talk Empyre Aftermath and Empyre Fallout.
Oh yes.
Okay. And they're very interesting. Let's start with Fallout first, because this is the happy ending book. You have the happy ending book and the sad ending book, because there are no endings. And, this is kind of cool. There isn't a lot of stress or drama in this book. This is very much just everyone getting together to sort of wrap everything up.
Yep.
But at the same time, we are also getting... And do we get a Brand in this one or no? No, Brand's in the other one. Yeah.
No, we get the Unseen in this one.
We get the Unseen. The Unseen is cool. And we get, of course, the big reveal, which is Uatu's back. Uatu's back, and there's gonna be trouble. The thing about Uatu being back, though, well, I mean, there's a lot of things. One thing is, I wonder if this is per se Uatu, or if this is maybe kind of a berserk version of him, because he seems very angry. There shall be a reckoning, because obviously he is not being very non-interfering if he's going to start reckoning things. And one of the big plot lines in this is that, of course, there is these essentially magical weapons that the Koti were using that were so far advanced than any of the Kree Skrull have. And when they finally figure out what they are essentially the first weapons of the first species, which, by all accounts, probably means the Watchers. I think these are the weapons that the Watchers created that they gave to people when they were giving them that technology. If you all remember, the secret origin of the Watchers was that, much like the Skrulls, they were like, hey, we want to work with you guys. We want to give you technology to help you advance. And then the world, this world they gave the atom to blew itself up. And that's when they said, okay, so we vow never to interfere in other species again. But it suggests that there was a time when they were dealing in these kinds of things and were this super advanced race at the time. And I got it. So I'm thinking those weapons are from the Watchers. That the Watchers are the first race, which makes sense that they would be because they've been watching everything.
Yep. And again, is that a Uatu regenerated from that eye that the Unseen stole? Or, I mean, there's other Watchers out there. Could that be Aaron the Rogue Watcher?
I mean, it could be. He has impersonated Uatu before.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's telling that this Uatu is missing an eye.
Yes.
Like the Unseen is, like Nick Fury was. So it's an interesting thing. I wonder if we're going to get Nick Fury back at some point in this, now that Uatu's back.
Yeah.
But it also is cool because, they did tease that there will be this resurrection of someone long thought dead in the Marvel Universe. And honestly, I was not even thinking about Uatu.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's funny is that Uatu has a wife and kid on the moon, too. So I got to see how that works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember it was in the Ultimates. We met Uatu's wife.
Yeah.
And they had a little kid, and then Uatu was murdered. It was very sad. And then we get...
I mean, I figured they'd bring Uatu back eventually.
Yeah, well, it's a great character. And then that brings us to Avengers Aftermath, which is, first off, a lot of flashbacks about the original Queen Mum, and I don't know, man, it's kind of weird. She is like walking around with like nothing on.
Well, probably, Skrulls probably age well. They are shapeshifters.
Well, yeah, I get that. It's just like, dang, woman, this shouldn't be able to see what religion you are. That's all I'm saying.
No.
But I'm bummed. Okay.
I mean, Skrulls might have different ideas about modesty anyway, since they are shapeshifters.
Yeah. But everyone else seems to be wearing clothes, so that's the only thing I have to say about it. Then we get like the reaffirmation wedding of Tommy and
Hulkling and Wiccan,
Buckling and Wiccan, Teddy and and Theodore. No, Teddy and Billy. Teddy and Billy. That's it is. King of Space and all this kind of stuff. It was the big party, and we get this whole thing with Abigail Brandt.
Yep.
Where she's basically like the Cody established a colony on the moon, and you didn't bring Alpha Flight in.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, she is right in this. She is right that we are. You guys don't just get to decide every fate of the universe by yourselves.
It's like basically, the Avengers and the Fantastic Four don't exclusively get to decide the fate of the planet.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you've added people to the Illuminati. The Illuminati is still a bad idea.
Yeah.
And that is interesting. And we get like the dire warnings from the grandmother about, letting the humans live is a mistake because they will betray you, blah, 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 blah. And then we get a flash to the future.
Yep.
And there's Abigail Brand, like, yes, you should have listened. There's some nonsense. And she's wearing an X because apparently she's working with the Krakoans now. And
I know she was kind of friendly with them. That's where she first appeared as was it Astonishing X-Men? Yeah, so because I think her and Beast were getting cozy early on. Yeah, so I mean,
she may well be a mutant as well.
Or if she does have ties to the X-Men and Krakoa, is that even the real Abigail Brand?
You never know. Could be another one of these little,
plant clones.
Plants. That's why the Cody are friends with them. I do like how they handled the Cody in the Fantastic Four one, and I like the conversation that Franklin and Thor have together about what it means to be a god.
Yes.
and and just basically saying, well, you got all this extra powers from Gaia, and then you're just giving them up. It's like, yeah, because if it saves lives, if it keeps peace, then why wouldn't I give that up? I give up all my power 1,000 times over to save people's lives. That's what makes you worthy.
Exactly. But did you see in that Avengers annual, Captain Marvel's no longer the Kree accuser? It's her sister now.
Yeah.
You can see that handoff in Captain Marvel 21 that also came out this week.
Yeah, well, there you go. And that's good. But I liked what Billy says. It's like, you're the accuser, but you've also been the accused.
Yes.
So, that's going to give you perspective, hopefully. You hope Billy's right. Although, again, our flash forward suggests, nope, he's not.
But my big thing,
he's wrong.
I like it, especially with the Uatu revelation. They brought up his name. They bring every character back. I'm like, why don't they bring Mar-Vell back?
Because Mar-Vell is dead. And
Mar-Vell
died.
Everyone in the Marvel universe before.
No, but the difference is the actual honest reason is Mar-Vell was only an interesting character because he's dead. That essentially the reason why they were able to do the death of Captain Marvel was because no one cared about Captain Marvel at the time. They were like, yeah, sure. Yes, I want him to die of cancer. Yeah, sounds fine. But then it makes his character, it raises who his character is, and especially in the eyes of the readers.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't bring him back because the only thing interesting about him is that he is dead.
Mm-hmm.
So if they brought him back, that would completely undo the only thing that actually made him an interesting character. I mean, you could totally rewrite him in some way, but first off, then he's going to be competing with Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, and yada yada yada. So no, let him stay dead. He's more interesting that way. That's really all you can say about it. And you do see, Major Glory on the penal, says, yes, I'll go to the penal colony. That's fine. I'll just be your holstered weapon. It's like, you tried to coup me, man. Don't give me this pucky. So, yeah. But, yeah, so it's interesting what they're building out here. I'm glad to see the Fantastic Four will be a part of it. I'm glad to see that our two little scamps, the Skrull and the Kree, are going to be sticking around.
Oh yeah, Ben and Alicia adopt the Skrull and Kree kid. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there you go. Works for me. And it's going to be interesting. And I get the feeling that this is like. So as an example, since the other thing is, in the future, it makes me wonder if we're going to be getting these flash forwards to this alternate future, and we're going to be seeing a Fantastic Four made up of Franklin, Valeria, and the Korean Skrull kid.
Maybe the next generation. Yeah. Oh, look,
yeah.
Awake.
Oh, hi, Lilith. Phrasing. Where did I misphrase? Okay.
I don't know what we said.
I don't know. Something about the little ones. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I think, it's interesting. It's interesting what they're setting up. What I like about Marvel is that for the most part, they seem to, even after all of this, they seem to be organized. They seem to know where they're going.
Love it or hate it, they have a plan.
They have a plan, and they're sticking to it. I did pick up, of course, The Magnificent Ms. Marvel, which predates everything because this is a pre-COVID book that finally got released, and it's like, oh yeah, nobody's even talking about the Outlawed story anymore. So,
I mean, like I said, they mentioned it in Miles' book, but besides that, I haven't seen any mention of Outlawed anywhere else. Besides Ms. Marvel and Miles Morales, I haven't seen any mention of Outlawed.
But this is a cool story, and it's because Ms. Marvel's in the coma, Kamala's in the coma, and it's her trying to fight her way out of the coma, and she's having the nightmares, while she's in there about all the people that she loves dying because of her, and pretty standard superhero fare, but I enjoyed it. It was pretty good.
The phrasing thing, Lilith said, penal colony, that's what.
Penal colonies, yes, well, he's the big man at the penal colony. Anyway. Okay. So that is the last of my comic books, and that is that is where we're at, Philip. Do you have anything else you want to talk about tonight?
No, I think that's
we got
everything
I
on
like
my
to do a
list,
nice, short, sweet thing. You got to your destination on, this is a good commute podcast. That's what I shoot for. What can I listen to while I'm on the train, while I'm driving in my car? That's what we want to be. Hopefully that's what you want us to be. But anyway, if that's not what you want us to be, maybe it's because you're not listening to us on the right headphones. So what I'm going to recommend to you do right now is that if you did not 100% enjoy this episode, or even if you did, go over to tweakedaudio.com, use the coupon code Southgate to get, 10% off?
I believe so.
Get some kind of discount on anything you're buying over there at Tweaked Audio. And then you might be able to hear us better and they go, oh, now they make sense. Now I see why they call him the professor.
You think Charlie sounds good now? Get yourself some Tweaked Audio headphones.
Exactly. I'm like a whole other person. But if even that is not interesting to you, you know what? Here's something you can do with your spare time. Go over to huntakiller.com. Go help out Michelle Gray solve these cold cases. She needs the help. She will send you some clues in the mail. You can take them out. You can hang them on your wall. You can try and solve the puzzle and help Michelle Gray catch this fiendish killer finally. And if none of that interests you at all, just go down to our show notes, click on the link that says Amazon. That's going to take you to Amazon. And through the magic of cookies, they're going to know that we sent you, and it's going to cost you nothing, but it lets them know that we were how you got there, and that's good for us. So as we all seek to serve the great master Amazon and other various and sundry corporations controlling our lives, just like they are, and we only find them when they're dead. Okay.
Make it work.
By the great Mr. Al Ewing, friend of the show.
Yes.
Alrighty then. In the meantime, Philip, if someone would like to get in touch with you and talk to you about any of this stuff, how can they do so?
The easiest way to get a hold of us, me or any of us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And just find us all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Capes and Lunatics, or even Super Connectivity has their own account. So yeah, come join Super Connectivity.
Yay! Oh, and by the way, definitely when you go to Amazon, look for Pod Life the book.
Yes,
I forgot to mention that. That is the book written by the usual gang of geniuses at Southgate Media, putting together a book about what it means to be a podcaster, why they do it, and why it has actually made their lives better, worse, or indifferent. That's Pod Life the book. Buy it in paperback or in digital download. And then after you've done that, if you want to talk to me about any of that stuff, just write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our Maz and Paz once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet things when I feel like it. Hopefully something soon will catch my eye and I can live tweet it. And then we will be the bomb. And that's at Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing.
Thank you, Maz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been another episode of Super Connectivity. Hopefully you learned something. And if not, please come back again next week anyway and just super connect with us once again. Good night.
Good night. Boy, Loaf was still up. She must be sober.
Yeah, well, I'm
Charlie's about to pass out.
Yeah, I'm about to pass out, man. I can't. I don't know why. I get so tired lately. It's like I'm not sleeping enough, but I am sleeping, so it's weird.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
All of you, go get some sleep.
Mm-hmm.